Is there so many people that say they are struggling to find meaning in their life, or they feel purposelessness? And, I get so many messages from people all over the world saying that that saying things like, is this it? Is this all my life is?
So this is literally also one point that you just mentioned. Is that it? Isn't there more? That has always been a part that followed me along the way. Yeah, especially now in the last 3-4 years, after social media, the algorithm of social media really started also pushing us quite out there. More requests were coming of doing workshops, of doing podcasts, of teaching here, of teaching there, of making television show, of participating in movies. And of course, all together with this, doors start to open, different things start to come in. But at some point, I just couldn't believe that this is supposed to be the purpose. Because it all still had to do with doing. The constant doing. Yeah. And there I felt in my life now, looking at this couldn't be it. So I looked for alternatives, always and always again. Especially feeling that along the way of what you would say achieving something, being recognized at something, yeah, but there's another side that goes hand in hand with it that the public doesn't see. There were times I could simply be surrounded with like thousands of people, but still feel lonely. It's not what you're surrounded with. It's with what you are connected. Yeah, and there I felt like there is always, again, this type of force. What is it that drives you on? Going outwards, you lose yourself. But this self is the only thing that can give you connection in this life.
And what do you need to be connected to then? You talked about being surrounded by thousands and being lonely, and it's really about what you're connected to. What does one need to be connected to?
Maybe before I answer you this question, there's one thing I maybe want to mention beforehand. So when I went to elementary school and also during my school time, I actually, for example, joined Christian lesson. Yeah. So by my parents, I grew up with Buddhist tradition, let's say. From the martial art training, I also got introduced into so-called Zen Buddhism. Because my father always told me, look, son, we are here in a foreign country, you're a foreigner. It's always better to have friends than to have enemies. That's why I made always friends with everyone. Meaning I had a lot of Russian friends, I had a lot of Arabic friends, I had a lot of Turkish friends, multicultural. Also meaning at some point I also got introduced into Islam. Bottom line is, taking all of this knowledge from the past into my mind, no matter from which angle I'm watching right now, I do believe that we all have a source. There is a source. So whether you call that source is the universe, whether you call the source it is the God, whether this source is the infinite energy, I don't know. There's so many different expressions to it. But when I look at all these teachings, all are always pointing at one and the same thing. Let's just take the expression of yin and yang, yes? The symbol everybody knows in the world. And there is that nice saying, yin and yang have a mother. The mother sometimes simply being illustrated as one circle. So yin and yang as the expression from duality, polarity, existence of number two. Yeah, where do the two come from? They must come from one. So simple like in our way, you are there, I am here, one, two, where do we come from? There must be something that we have as a common denominator. And this source is the only thing that can connect us. because it's not your family. It's not my family. They're still different. That is not enough. Just looking at we are humans. Animals, same. Whatever and whoever gave us the possibility to be here is the same who gave you the permission, is the same who gave me the permission and the blessing. And this is what I think, this is the level of mind. This is the level of connection that never leaves you lonely. This is the one that I mean.
Being connected to the source.
Yes.
Now, for someone that is listening to this and is confused at this juncture and they're asking themselves, what is that source? You've described it in many potential ways, but it's my attempt at describing it is ultimately where we came from. That is the source. Is there a better way of describing it for people that might be unfamiliar with the concept?
First of all, I cannot speak without it and it would make sense to everyone. That's already the first very, very difficult part. That's why my intention is never to say, what is it? The only thing I can do is to give pointers. But ultimately, there's only one person who will be able to find it out. And it's not me finding it out for somebody else. Everybody will find out for himself or herself. So every human being, I do think, is at a different level of his growth, of his development, and everybody gets what he needs exactly in the moment where he is in. Which is why I think everybody at this moment in time is exactly where he needs to be for the next elevation to take place. The only thing you need to do is look at yourself right now and just find out, what is it that makes you unhappy? What exactly is it that at this moment in your life is binding you and restricting you from moving on? And this is the same question for everyone, but what you ultimately need to tackle is different.